During your interview of Mr. Alvarez in August of 2009, did Mr. Alvarez draw some pictures?
Yes, he made some drawings.
Showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit F. Do you recognize that, Detective Myers?
I do.
Is that the drawing that was made by Mr. Alvarez in August of 2009?
Yes.
And this purports to be of a IV bag, is that correct?
This was a drawing that he depicted showing the IV stand, an attached IV bag with a bottle with a milky white substance inside the IV bag, and then the line on the right side, that's the IV tubing that he drew.
Thank you. Showing you what's been previously marked as Defense Exhibit I. Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
And is that another drawing made by Mr. Alvarez back in August of 2009?
Yes, it is.
And what does that drawing depict?
This is what he was drawing. It was a device we later discovered was a pulse oximeter that he saw on the fingertips of Michael Jackson.
Just to be clear, these drawings were made by Mr. Alvarez on August 31st of 2009, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was about 2 months after the death of Mr. Jackson, correct?
Approximately, yes.
Okay. And that would have also been 4 days after the coroner's office issued their press release regarding the cause of death in this case, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. The press release was issued on August 27th of 2009, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the press release identified the cause of death as a propofol intoxication?
Correct.
Okay. And Detective Myers, would it be fair to say that the 2 months prior to your interview with Mr. Alvarez, the press, the coverage of this case was overwhelming?
Leading up to the, yes, there was a considerable amount of news coverage.
Now, when you arrived at UCLA, you spoke with a number of witnesses that were there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And one of those was a gentleman by the name of Alberto Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay. And did you actually conduct the interview of Mr. Alvarez on that day?
No, that was Detective Smith. I was there for half of it, and then I walked away to conduct other stuff.
Okay, so Detective Smith was the one questioning Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay, but you were there for half of it?
Yes.
Okay. And during the half that you were there, did you ever hear Mr. Alvarez mention anything about putting away vials for Dr. Murray?
No.
Okay. And during the half of the interview that you were present, did you ever hear Mr. Alvarez say anything about seeing a vial or a bottle inside an IV bag?
No.
And when you arrived to 100 North Carrollwood, did you observe Mr. Alvarez there again?
I did not.
Okay. Did you observe Fahim Muhammad?
Yes.
Okay. And who is Fahim Muhammad?
He was the head of security for Michael Jackson's personal bodyguards.
Okay. Now, sometime that evening, Alex Supal from SID arrived to Carrollwood, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he was the individual in charge of the surveillance cameras that were located at Carrollwood?
He was the technician that would download it for us, yes.
Okay, from LAPD who showed up in order to retrieve the footage from the camera system?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you with Mr. Supal in the basement of the residence where the digital video recorder was?
Yes.
Do you recognize that drawing?
I do.
And who made that drawing?
Mr. Alvarez.
And was this at the meeting in April of this year?
Yes.
Okay. Were you present when he drew this picture?
I was.
Okay. showing you what's marked as Defense Exhibit F. Have you seen this picture before?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know that was a picture drawn by Mr. Alvarez in August of 2009, only 2 months after the death of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree the picture drawn by Mr. Alvarez 2 years after Mr. Jackson's death in Mr. Walgren's office is significantly different than the picture drawn 2 months after Mr. Jackson's death?
Sustained.
At the time of the preliminary hearing, Mr. Walgren just asked you some questions regarding that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez never testified that evidence item 106 was the item, the bottle that he saw in the IV bag, correct?
Correct.
All he testified was that he saw a vial in a bottle, in a IV bag, correct?
I'm not sure exactly what he said, but he didn't say that that was the bottle.
Right. He didn't even specify it was a propofol bottle, correct?
That's correct.
Now, the picture that he drew regarding the additional chamber that you just testified about, okay, he never mentioned that during his statement on June 25th of 2009, correct?
Correct.
Overruled.
Correct.
He never mentioned the additional chamber on August 31 of 2009, correct?
Correct.
The instances where you met with Mr. Alvarez for his fingerprints, he never mentioned this additional chamber on the IV bag, correct?
Correct.
And finally, in April of 2011, weeks before we were scheduled for trial, is the first time he mentioned an additional chamber, correct?
After he viewed the saline bag, yes.
After he viewed the saline bag in the DA's office, correct?
Yes.